Hey friends! Laura A. Grace here, the author of Dear Author, Letters from a Bookish Fangirl, Team Lines of Poetry Collection, and Finding God Anime Devotional for Otakus, which is free on a variety of platforms. I'll leave a link down below in case if you'd like to check it out. Happy Friday, my friends! I am so excited that I finally get to review this manga on this channel because I have wanted to since fall of last year, I believe, is when I originally wanted to, but I was like, it's fall, it's not spring, and I needed it to be spring so it like fit the vibe of this video. And I don't know about where you are, but yes, spring, yeah, for sure, it's definitely here. There is pollen everywhere and just yellow everywhere, which is pollen, but still, like, it's just allergy season has arrived. But thankfully, reading this manga, my allergies were not activated, to be totally nerdy there and say that. And the manga that I'm going to be sharing about today that I'm so excited for is Springtime by the Window. Look how cute and precious these covers are, and I believe they fit. Let me make sure I got it because I think it's the opposite way. Yes, no, just kidding, no I don't. I had it right the first time. But look at that! When you put them together, it forms a picture. I absolutely love when covers do that. It's just very fun, in my opinion. Sorry for the glare. But it is so cute, and this is a 2-volume series from Tokyo Pop. I discovered this, I believe, October of last year, at least when I actually reread this volume, and when I read it the first time, my Goodreads thing said that it was like October 19th when I had read it. They're so cute on the back as well. This whole like cover of this series, the cover of this series is just very cute. It is a very cute story. I love his expression so much. It fits his personality so well. I don't quite love this one quite as much just because she is one of my favorite characters in this series, and I don't like how she's not happy. Like, oh, I want her to smile. So I think the back cover of the first one is my absolute favorite because I love these two. They were my favorite probably, yeah, both of my favorite characters in the series for sure. But in case if you are not familiar with Springtime by the Window, Springtime by the Window is definitely like a cute shoujo slice of life. It sort of centers around a little bit around this guy here. His name is Yamada. He is a second year in high school and he has a huge crush on his childhood friend Seno. But Seno does not realize this whatsoever, but she definitely likes him. And Yamada's two classmates are Akama and Toda. They don't quite realize it, but they definitely have feelings for each other, and it progresses as the series goes on. And so the story sort of centers around them sort of having a romance, or like the romance part doesn't really bloom until fully later, and them also, I don't know, I'm hesitant to say that they have a romance, but they did have, I guess, a good romance. So I will go ahead and just start off and say right off the bat, okay, that this series is very cute, but it does not end with a big shoujo bang. And what I mean is it's not ending with that kiss that you have been looking forward to like the whole series. You've been waiting for it. You've been wanting it so much. It did not unfold quite like that, but it was very sweet. And so I do feel that if like that is something that like you want for a shoujo manga to end with, you're not going to find that here. So do not go in and be like, oh, I'm looking forward to this, because you probably most likely will be disappointed. In fact, when I read volume 1, I believe I gave it 4 stars, but then when I reread it, I bumped that rating up to 5 stars because I just enjoyed it so much more, and it was so cute. It was just, these characters are just so precious, and their shenanigans, I mean, they're pretty low-key shenanigans, but just, it made me laugh so much seeing that it's very obvious, like extremely obvious, okay, that Akama really does like Toda a lot. Like she loves him, and it's very obvious to everybody but Toda. Like he just doesn't see it. He just doesn't see it. And so it makes some really cute moments, in my opinion. I mean, sometimes it's just like, oh, can you just see it? Can you just get it? I mean, goodness. And then when it came to Yamada, I mean, it's so obvious for, maybe it's not, I do feel like it is pretty obvious to the reader how much he loves this girl. Like, I mean, he cares for her so much. And even when we see sort of it's sort of like a flashback, but not really like they're looking at a photo album, and you can already see his feelings for Seno even then. And she she does not get it. Like, she is sort of airheaded, and I don't mean that as an insult to her or anything, but she does not connect the dots. She does not connect the dots. Like, a really good point is, like, I believe that he trying to think of, okay, let's do this one because I feel like this one really isn't a spoiler. But there is a scene where she dresses up and he's like, "You look really cute." And she's like, "Oh, I know, this outfit is so cute." And he's like, "No, I'm talking about you look super cute." And she just, it took her a minute to comprehend that he was saying that she herself was cute, not what she was necessarily wearing was cute. I mean, it was, but you get what I mean? So there's moments like that that really take place, of course, through the whole manga. I mean, I feel like it's definitely more prominent. I think I want to say more prominent in volume 2, but I think probably in volume 1, but you're on the like back end or the furthest end of all of that in volume 2 for sure. So let's go ahead and talk about these characters. So part of why I gave when I read the first volume the first time 4 stars is because I really did not like Yamada. He doesn't have nearly as much expressions as his 2 classmates do, and so it can be hard, I feel like, to connect with him because he comes across as this, I wouldn't say cold-like personality, he just doesn't express himself, and when he says things, he's just straight-faced, but he's very caring, like, you see that so much in volume 2, how caring he is, and not just for Seno, but, like, how good of a friend that he is, and hopefully I don't forget, but, you know, we'll just go ahead and talk about it now, because I'll talk about it next. So, definitely, this is a romance manga, but one of the things I really, really enjoyed that I could not recall here recently when it came to shoujo manga of things that I've read is I absolutely loved how Yamada and Akama, how they have a great non-romantic friendship. It is so good. I really, really enjoyed it. I very much appreciated it. It was something I wasn't expecting, but as the series goes on, especially in volume 2, you really see how great of a friend that he is to her. I mean, to other people too, I think, but other people being Toda, but specifically Akama, that was just a very beautiful friendship that they have, and there were scenes and situations that I really love where you see that Yamada is not this cold-hearted person, that he's very caring and that he truly cares for his friends and that he wants to be there for them and that he wants to support them, even though he definitely gets mad and he gets angry at his friends. And usually the times where you see him having the most expression is when it involves his girl Seno, and they are just so precious as a couple. They're not technically a couple per se at all through the volume, but I guess as a couple in the sense in Yamada's mind, like, that is the girl he wants to marry. That is the girl he wants to be with. And there's certain things that he says or he'll do, and it's so innocent and it's so wholesome. And he's just like, oh my goodness, I need to go find out how to get a marriage certificate. I'm like, dude, Yamada, like, you did not do anything. It is so cute. It was so good. I really, really enjoyed those moments. Like, you get a lot of those in the second volume, and it was just everything, and it was so precious. And again, it really fleshes out Yamada's character because, like I said, when you see him in the beginning, compared to his 2 friends, you're sort of like, he's sort of boring. And I guess in a way, but I think knowing that and going into the volume a second time, I knew what to expect. So I was like, okay, I was able to just see things differently, and I love how calm and chill chill he is. There we go. Because Akama, let's do the other one. Let's do the back of the cover. Akama, she is such a fun character. Like, her and Toda have this great dynamics to their friendship, and they're so blind to their feelings. You're like, can you just wake up, both of you? And Akama definitely realizes her feelings a lot sooner. And I love how it was a guy that was sort of in the midst of all this romantic chaos between these two. Yamada was the guy, and it was just cool having it from the perspective of a guy instead of a girl because he just really didn't put up with it. And he's just like, I'm not gonna say anything. And then things would come out, and it wasn't necessarily from him because he won't lie, but he also won't beat around the bush either. So that was really refreshing too. I really enjoyed that. But Akama, she is so sweet. She's definitely like a tomboy, and I love her attitude and just her fierceness and just her overall personality. And her romance was so sweet as well. It was so cute, especially seeing her how she is when she's not, I guess, thinking about romantic stuff, I guess, and just seeing her, I don't know, I'm trying to think of the right word, but just seeing her when she's not thinking about how much she likes Toda, which she doesn't do that often in the manga anyway, but when she's just herself and there's no romance or anything like that involved, hopefully that made sense. Sorry guys, that she's so great. I really, really, really enjoyed it so much, and just seeing her slowly come into her feelings and seeing just how much she cares for Toda was just, oh, it was so precious. I really, really loved it, and her anger at times was just something else, and I just felt for her. Like, I think with Yamada and Seno, I mean, I feel like there's definitely like, I pity a little bit Yamada, but with Akama, it's not as, I mean, it is sort of like a pity because they do, Yamada and her definitely share that with the people that they like, and them just not realizing like how much of a crush they have on them. But yeah, they definitely have that in common. And so, I mean, I think it's natural to feel pity for them in a sense, but how she handles things, I just really enjoyed. And rather than being super sad or even annoyed, which I don't feel like I was really annoyed with any of these characters, but I felt like with her specifically, that you're just like, man, I'm sorry. I'm sorry that he's just not getting it. And Toda, he is such a sweet guy. Like, he really is. And we'll just go on to him. I think his hairstyle is really awesome, by the way. And I love, there's just a sort of like loose running joke of how he blames Yamada's hair for his problems. And I actually shared that, I think, on Goodreads. I don't remember if it was the first volume or the second one, but it made me laugh nonetheless. So I really love Toda. He is such a great guy. And that's why it makes it harder for Akama when he says things where he's like, I'll just go take care of this guy that you have a crush on. And, you know, if he gives you any hard time, you know, and then he's like, I'll do this and this with you if he bails out on you. And it's just like, dude, you are the guy. Like, you are the guy that Akama likes. Why can't you see this? But he is so kind, he's so caring. I really love just his goofy personality, even if at times I definitely was just like, I wish you would just see it, Toda. Like, I definitely had that one with him more often, but when him and Akama are on the page, there is such, not fireworks as in like romantic fireworks, but there is just such a spark on the page. There's life on the page. There's a lot of excitement. You know that there's going to be smiles involved, and you know that you're just going to be really happy, usually, when you're reading about them. Now, when we get into volume 2, it's a little bit different because, as the expression here of Akama shows, you know, it's not all sunshine and rainbows, but I was very, very, very happy with how this series ended. But before I get on that, let me go talk about Seno because look how cute she is. She is a very cute and precious character. I love how she has, oh my goodness, I can't think of her last name. I think it's Kaede. I think it's her last name. One of her friends, though, acts like the police when, like, her other two friends are, like, influencing her, because there's definitely a scene where they're like, you need to dress nice, like, completely, you know, not just on the outside, or not just, like, your outer clothing wear, like, everything needs to be really nice, and her friend's like, no, don't influence her like that, don't tell her those things, she needs to stay pure and innocent, and this is a very clean story, but I just, yes, she really is a very pure and wholesome character, and it's just so easy to root for her, even if she does not see that Yamada loves her and very much cares for her. It is very cute to see her and her reactions to Yamada and how much she respects him and admires him and deeply cares for him. I really enjoyed that. And it was funny where she is very directionally challenged, very, very much so. And I am so thankful as well, with that said, very briefly, glad that there are no kind of love triangles in this series at all. That was very, very, very great. So let's go ahead and talk about the ending. Yes, I was so happy with this ending. So I will be honest. Let's see. I believe, okay, I read an early arc of volume 1, and I pre-ordered it shortly after I read it because I enjoyed it that much. And then sometime before Volume 2 released, before even digitally, there was a review for Volume 2. They had gotten a digital arc, and they did not review or rate it very strongly. And based off of their thoughts, I was really nervous that I was going to dislike this volume. In fact, I really thought that this was going to have a very sad ending, or at least in the romance department. And I was so relieved that when I got to the end, it was nothing like how I expected because of that review. I was just so thankful, very relieved, because I was like, man, I really enjoyed Volume 1, and I would have been super disappointed if Volume 2 did not end on a happy note. And if it was rushed, which I did not feel that this series was rushed. I felt that there was, I would say for Akuma and Toda, I think it was a natural progression, and I really enjoyed that. I thought it was very well done. And then when it came to Seno and Yamada, I liked how theirs ending as well. It was very good, and it felt on par, on key for how their romance has been this whole entire series, or for both volumes, I mean. It just felt very true. So for both of these characters, or for both these couples, I felt it was true for them both. And I felt like the ending, I mean, I definitely would want more, hands down. I would love more of these characters because I just enjoyed this series so very much. Liked how it ended a lot, and I just was so thankful again that it was a sweet ending, that it was true to the characters, and it was just a happy ending. Like, I when I finished the series, I felt very satisfied, and I was like, I will definitely be rereading this again because it's just a sweet and short series and has so many fun shenanigans, and it's very slice of life feel, and quite a few of the chapters that like they're not necessarily related to each other, especially in the first one. Like, I feel like that could be like each chapter is almost like a one shot. And talking about that, this was really interesting. This is the second manga that I have read that they got published because they were sharing their art, their manga, so to speak, on Twitter and then got published. Shikimori's Not Just a Cutie, the manga started out the same way. They were just sharing, I think it's a he that writes that series, but he was just sharing his characters and like little 4-panel illustrations on Twitter, and eventually got like a deal or a manga from that. And it was the same way for Springtime by the Window, and I just thought that was so cool. I thought that was really fascinating. And the art, which I almost forgot to mention, it was great. It's very cute. I really enjoyed it. Let me see if I can get a non-spoiler. Here we go. Here is one of Yamada's classic expressions of annoyance, but also being very supportive. This is a very pretty panel of Akuma. Very pretty. And let's see if I can find one of Toda, because he's just... Here's a good one right here. So fun fact, Yamada sort of has his own fan club a little bit, and it's very cute. Very funny and very much enjoyable. Let's see if we can find Seno here. Here's sort of one. It's not a very good one right here. Sort of a small one. I found one before, but I was like, that's sort of a spoiler. But here she is too, looking very cute. So the art was very adorable, and I really enjoyed it. I felt like the art was very clean and sort of maybe on the more simple side, but I don't mean that as like a disrespect or anything like that. Just, it was nice. It really just fits the characters. I'm not going to show anything from Volume 2 because I almost did. I'm like, that is a spoiler. So I will stop there. But I definitely recommend this series. If you're looking for a shoujo manga that's very short, like I said, 2 volumes is totally complete, or fully complete, and slice of life, and you just want something lighthearted, something to lift up your heart, this series does it really well. It's a great, clean story, very fun, very wholesome characters, and very innocent, and it really captures, the high school love in the spring of adolescence blooms with earnest, messy emotions. And I think that is so well said. Let me know, friends, are you guys glad that spring is fully here? Do you like spring? Do you not like spring? And what are some recent lighthearted stories that you've read that you really enjoyed? I would love to hear what you've been reading. And if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe. And thank you so much for watching. Bye!